What's up guys, Mad J Man here, and it looks like Need for Speed Unbound is getting some huge updates this year. So it looks like the dev team that are working on Need for Speed Unbound have been cooking since the last update came out, because they've shared a massive article today detailing what they're going to do for year 2 of Need for Speed Unbound to celebrate 30 years of Need for Speed. Now, I'm not going to read through the whole article because, trust me, it's quite a big article, but it starts off saying, surprise, we're still here, and not just here, we have a whole year's worth of content coming to you. Need for Speed turned 30 this year, and with that huge legacy, we couldn't stand idle. However, this year will be a bit different from the previous one. They go on to say that our vision is that through our second year of live service, you can for the first time begin to play the ultimate Need for Speed experience in one place. Your feedback and gameplay will help shape the future of this iconic franchise. As you play, we will be listening, observing, and reacting to the things you want to see and the things you don't. It's an approach that we're calling Kaizen. So I think that is part of why they invited all those racing game YouTubers and influencers to their studio, because again, they can give some of their feedback to help shape the game and the future of the franchise. In this article, they've also given us a year 2 roadmap. This is essentially outlining when each update is going to come out and what is going to be inspiring each update and what's going to be in each update. So it looks like there's going to be one new major game mode or feature, 2 new fully customizable cars with multiple body kits, and of course the speed pass, which as we all know is free, but there's also going to be an optional premium speed pass, which to be honest, I kind of predicted that a while ago, or at least I thought that they should add a premium speed pass where maybe you've got more cars, more things to unlock. So I'm kind of happy. I'm actually happy with the option of a premium speed pass. They've also said in this roadmap that throughout this year of live service for Need for Speed Unbound, they're going to be releasing new events, free drive updates, weekly PvP playlists. I'm interested to see that, because the playlist right now, are they not weekly? I mean, I assume they're not, but I'm definitely excited for that. Progression updates, challenges, new challenges, and more. And of course, with each update, they're going to be bug fixes, and there's going to be quality of life updates to just, make the gameplay experience better and hopefully iron out some of them snags that are in the game, that, the bugs that I'm sure many of us are experiencing playing Need for Speed Unbound. So let's talk about the volume, shall we? Let's start with Volume 6, which actually comes out next week. Volume 6 head to head with Audi, and this marks the return of Audi, and I can imagine with this, there'll be a lot of Audi themed playlists. Of course, there'll be Audi cars. I am hoping that the Audi R8 is one of the cars that comes out. But this is for me one of the best updates that they've produced, because it's the return of a car manufacturer that I know a lot of people would have wanted to see, and I think it sets a precedent for, or rather it paves the way for other car manufacturers to return. You never know, we might see Toyota in the future. If not in Need for Speed Unbound, we might see them in a future game. So hopefully, this partnership with Audi, maybe Toyota look at it and maybe if Audi can patch it up, maybe Toyota can too, and we might see Toyota in either Need for Speed Unbound or in a future release. Moving on to Volume 7, which comes out sometime in May. Now, if you look at the background image closely, you'll be able to see that this is the cover for Need for Speed Underground, and the title of this update is actually Drift and Drag, inspired by Need for Speed Underground. So the title of this update is actually Drift and Drag. Now, of course, I'm very happy that they're bringing drag racing back, but we have drift races already, so I'm going to assume there's going to be more drift challenges, more drift playlists that they're going to add, and also new drift events, because if you remember in 2015 there wasn't just drift, there was drift trial, there was drift train, there was tollgate, there was many drift events. So maybe they add a couple more drift events rather than just the ones we have now. A drift train would be awesome actually. But yeah, maybe with the title being Drift and Drag, they will focus on maybe bringing a few more drift events into the fold. The return of drag racing is a huge one for me because that used to be one of my favourite race modes in previous games. And when I say previous games, I mean the older games, because they did, of course, as you know, they brought it back in 2015, and they did it again in Payback, but it just wasn't on the same level. Like 2015's drag racing was not good at all. Payback's was an improvement, but it still wasn't very good. So I just hope that, as much as I'm happy that it's back, I hope the execution is better than Need for Speed 2015 and better than Payback. So after Volume 7, we've got Volume 8 coming out in August. And I'm not going to lie, this is looking like one of the most fun updates that we've actually had come to the game. So it says Cops versus Racers, inspired by Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. So what I can imagine is Cops versus Racers game modes, and I think it'll be more, it'll be more than Gauntlet playlist. To me, it sounds like something that is much more fun, and there's much more going on than the Gauntlet playlist. Imagine, for me, I think that you'll maybe have some players playing as cops and some players playing as racers. That's how I interpret it. But for me, this is looking like one of the most fun updates of the game so far, and I think we're going to see Need for Speed Hot Pursuit inspired challenges and stuff like that. And honestly, this update is probably going to be one of the most fun ones that we're going to see. So yeah, definitely looking forward to this one, because I feel like Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, we're talking about the 2010 one, I feel like it's very overlooked when it comes to good Need for Speeds, because for me, it's one of the better Need for Speeds out there. I think it's actually a really good game. It's very fun. The handling is easy to get along with, and to be honest with you, there isn't many more games out there like it where you can play as a cop and you can play as a racer. Honestly, like, it's very unique in that sense, and yeah, I think it's a really fun concept. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this update brings, because again, I feel like that game is very underappreciated for sure. And last but certainly not least is Volume 9. Now, Volume 9 just had a bunch of question marks next to it. It's set to release in October, so we've got around 8 months until that releases anyway. So it's quite a wait, but it's just got a bunch of question marks. And what I assume is that they are undecided, or I imagine they're going to use community feedback to help inspire the theme of the next update. Maybe, you never know, maybe across their social media channels they'll be asking questions here and there about what people want to see, polls on what people's favourite game was in the past, etc. And that will help them decide what content to put in Volume 9, what theme to go with for Volume 9 and stuff like that. So I imagine Volume 9 is going to be maybe the most community themed update that we'll see throughout these updates. Or should I say community inspired. Now again, I'm not going to read through the whole article. I will leave it down in the description if you guys want to read it in full detail. But I will go over some of the things. So they've said, of course, an evolving volume. So like we've already said, they're adding 4 new volumes in the next year, each launching every few months with some exciting themed updates and at least one new major mode added to each volume. Yes, we've seen that. Most requested bug fixes and improvements. That's interesting because there's a few bugs, fixes and improvements for me. Like, there's a few tracks that are just really buggy for me, and every time I play on them it just it glitches out, and I don't know what it is, so I hope they fix that. Premium Speed Pass, interesting one. Starting with Volume 6, we're introducing an all-new premium speed track to the Speed Pass that will grant you instant access to one of our hot new vehicles and unlock the ability to earn all its deep customization content. It also includes custom versions of the vehicle, and it's where you can find our hottest new customization options each season. So they're going to add new customization options every Speed Pass. That's amazing. Refining our Speed Pass this way is how we can keep delivering unique new content and gameplay to you through a more simplified approach. If that's not your thing though, will still be offering a free track of the Speed Pass with new vehicles and customization for you to enjoy. This is amazing because, again, it's optional. If you want to pay for it, if you want those extra customization options, if you want those extra things, you can pay for it. I just hope that it's not stuff that is exclusive to the premium Speed Pass. For example, the Legends pack that came out last year, with, you know, the classic cars from all the Need for Speeds, and the only way you could get those body kits on the car is by paying for that pack, and otherwise you had no access to them. I just hope it's not like that. And last but most certainly not least, we have always be learning. And essentially what they say in this section is that they're going to be using this year as a kind of experimenting year to see what we like, what we don't like, you know, the kind of feedback that we're going to be giving them. And they even say, you know, they're going to be increasing the amount of telemetry we track from the game to better understand through gameplay data what's working for you. So essentially they're going to be looking at what we play the most in terms of maybe classes, what cars get used the most, what cars don't get used enough, etc. And they'll be making some changes based off of that. But I'm really glad that they're actually listening now, and yeah, they're listening to all the community feedback and all the feedback from the influencers that they had in their studio, and they're going to be continuously improving the game based on the feedback that we as a community give to them. So that will just about wrap it up for the article today, the year 2 roadmap. I'm so thankful that they give us a roadmap. I'm thankful that they've actually giving us updates, but they're not just updates, they're big updates. And even at the end as well, at the end of the article, they say we might just have some nice surprises along the way as we take a tongue-in-cheek look back in the rear view before we drop a gear and power forward into the future together, testing, refining and constantly improving along the way. That makes me so happy, and I'm so excited for the future of Need for Speed. So to wrap things up, this is the end of the video. So looking at the roadmap, which volume are you most excited for? I think for me personally, I'm definitely looking forward to volume 7, the absolute most, the one that's inspired by Need for Speed Underground, because it brings my favourite game mode, which is drag racing. But let me know in the comment section down below, what is the volume that you're looking forward to the most? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.